I don't know what the big deal is, guys. Wizards of the Coast is just on our side trying to protect us from hateful and uninclusive content. Because, we don't know better. What if some kid picked up a copy of Volo's Guide to Monsters, read the section on orcs, and ran out and started committing hate crimes in the middle of the night in Chicago in freezing weather? What? What would happen? What if someone saw the section on Hadozi and Spelljammer and decided to run for public office as a Republican? This is terrible. Wizards of the Coast is just on our side, wanting to make sure that we're all kept snuggled and safe and cozy in our little imaginary beds and our little imaginary homes in imaginary Waterdeep and other branded intellectual sections of the Dungeons and Dragons universe. Hi, folks. It's your old pal, King Waspinator. Welcome back to Total Party Skills. As I'm sure you're hearing yesterday, Wizards of the Coast has finally put out their long-awaited response to the OGL news that has been winding its way through the internet over the last week. And the general reaction, from what I can tell, seems to be that it's gone down like a big, moist, wet fart. They've made some minor adjustments to what they're now calling the OGL 2.0, I'm gathering. They've made an assurance that they're not going to just take people's inventions from books they've put and just take them as their own and sell them. No, they'll want permission, which probably will be snuck into the language of this new OGL, but that's besides the point. All the things that are in the proposal that will hinder and discourage people from making OGL products is still actually there. But no, they're not going to take the name of the world you came up with when designing an OGL setting for D&D 5e and just reprint that as is carbon copy. They swear, promise. They totally, it was just an accident that language appeared in the earlier draft of the OGL, because lawyers, when you hire them to write up legal documents, they just on their own, come up with things to put in there. It's like, oh, well, these guys, we know that they're going to want this in their legal language, so we'll just do this on their behalf. And so clearly this is the lawyer's fault and not the people at corporate and their particular ideas. They should have tried to come out with a response to this way earlier, like last weekend earlier. They've waited too long. I feel like gaming culture has kind of pivoted upon this last week, and I don't really sense that people are ready to just like turn around and head back into the house and sit down and eat dinner after mom yelled at them like this. I think they're going over to their friend's house to spend the night. And you'll be lucky if they come back at all. It's the part of the movie, like an old, or maybe a TV show, like an old episode of Twilight Zone or original Star Trek, where the quasi-fascist leader of an alien planet, after having, been exposed, his actual real thoughts of his population have been disseminated to the public, and he's out there trying to rally the troops again and give a little speech, and the people just aren't buying it, and slowly they start throwing tomatoes, and then you hear the little quirky Star Trek music, and Kirk and Spock give each other knowing nods that a job is well done, and that this planet's not gonna be listening to this guy's bullshit anymore, and then they beam away and go off on another adventure. That's kind of where we are right now. Wizards of the Coast, in that statement, has probably done more damage to corporate progressivism than anything I've seen in a while. They might actually undermine the use of calling things hateful or trying to use inclusion as a shield as to, to justify why they're in the right. Oh, we were only going to steal from you and take rights away from you to protect you, to make sure that you're being inclusive enough, because we're just certain that if without us around, all you OGL writers, you're just going to start putting whites-only stickers on the covers of all your books, and we're here to stop you for the little people, the little poor excluded minorities, who can't necessarily afford all the hyper-expensive books and accessories that we're selling, and might not want to have to pay however much it is a month for the D&D Beyond subscription, because we're for inclusion, which is why we're putting a pay wall in front of everything for inclusivity. This is a whole segment of people who just kind of watched that happen. Oh, we're not sorry. We're sorry, but we're not sorry. You guys have so much passion for us, and we're listening. We just want you to know that we did this for you, to protect you from all that hateful content that we hate, because we hate you, and we don't want you to hate, because you might learn to hate us, and you have to love us and buy our products. I don't know. It's all a confusing mess, isn't it? Stay waspinated.